guys. This is What If Anime. I'm here with the 100 sub special. I am so unbelievably happy right now that I was able to make it to 100 subscribers, and I never thought that this channel would even get this far. I just started this channel for fun. I really just thought that it was just going to be a thing that I did. Record my videos, record my ideas that I have, or record any ideas that I would get. And this is absolutely
Yes, guys, this is absolutely amazing that I was able to get this far. So, let's get into this video. So, we're going to start this off in Fate, where Gilgamesh is about to return to the Holy Grail system, as there was a mistake inside the Holy Grail system. Instead of sending him there, it accidentally sent him into a reincarnation system in a different world. As the last things the Grail was able to tell Gilgamesh were that he was in a different world and that he needed
to find a container to hold his power and train that person to use his power, as he was in the Naruto universe, as he was around during the time that Hagoromo was born. He witnessed the fight between Hagoromo, Hamura, and their mother, Kaguya. As I'm sorry if you heard any background noise. So yes, Gilgamesh is currently in the reincarnation system. And he's looking for a worthy vessel, as he's found many people that he could go inside. He's found Madara, which was the reincarnation of Indra, and he's found Hashirama, and he thought they probably were too filled with rage at each other, and he didn't think that their cycle of hatred would be broken in that timeline. So he waited some more, as he's currently in the Leaf during the Nine Tails attack. As he sees everything happening, he sees the fact that Naruto almost got killed as soon as he was born by Obito. He saw that. I'm sorry if you hear that. That's my mom about to leave. He sees the fact that he's the reincarnation of Ashura, and he has the Nine Tails inside of him, because Minato did steal the Nine Tails inside of him. Not just half of it, the full Nine Tails this time, because I can't have the Nine Tails closing its chakra points, now can I? So he decides he'll go inside of Naruto because he's probably the strongest one that he's gonna find. And so he goes inside of Naruto, as Naruto's eyes are turned from light blue to red. His hair just becomes a little bit more defined, like Gilgamesh's hair. And he is sitting there with a stoic look on his face. And when Hiruzen comes, he says we have to put him in an orphanage, because Danzo was wanting the Nine Tails. He said, I think he should be given to Root, trained to become a village weapon. No, Danzo. No child is a weapon. No matter how much you ask, I'm not gonna let you have Naruto. As he walks away with Naruto, Danzo grits his teeth, because well, he's pretty mad. He really wanted to beat you, but he's gonna have to be patient. So he waits as Naruto grows up, and he's being watched usually by one Root Anbu because Hiruzen always has a team of Anbu watching Naruto. As this Root Anbu one day sees Naruto being chased into the forest of death as he disappeared, and he reported to Lord Danzo that he saw Naruto enter the forest of death. As he says, send a team out and grab him. As a team goes out to see if they can get Naruto. As Naruto is currently running from the villagers, as they stopped at the forest of death entrance and said, he's gonna die in there anyway. As they just walk away. And Naruto is currently badly injured, bones broken, his leg is broken, but he has to keep running. He's currently bleeding internally and outwardly. He's coughing up blood, and he reached a cave as he then passed out. As we see Naruto in his mindscape, as he sees a man with yellow hair, red eyes that looks similar to him, as he says, "You look like me," and the man says, "No, you look like me." As he says, "I'm just gonna cut to the chase because you don't have much time left. Do you want power? The power to never have to run away from people again, to never be looked down on by anyone? Do you want this power?" As Naruto says yes. As Naruto feels a surge of power going through him, as he passes out again in his mindscape, and he wakes up to the sound of people laughing, saying this is going to be easy. As they get up, as he gets up, and he looks at them, and they return back to being emotionless, because I'm going to say they have a switch to turn their emotions on and off, and they just turn their emotions off. So, Naruto says, "Who are you?" And they don't respond, as they just jump at him, as Naruto closes his eyes, and a bright light appears as he hears screaming, and he opens his eyes and he sees these weird golden chains around him, along with this weird portal thing behind him, as he is wondering what's going on, as he sees all the Root Anbu currently shish kebabbed on his chains, as they let the Root Anbu go, as they returned back into the portal and it closed, as he's wondering what's going on, but as he thinks that, he feels a spike of memories rushing into his head as he once again passes out. And during this time, I'm going to say Hiruzen sensed the power surge, and he sent a team into the Forest of Death consisting of Kakashi, Asuma, and Kakashi, an Anbu, and Asuma? Yeah, Asuma. Yeah. As they are running through the forest, they come across the clearing where this cave is, as they see a bunch of Anbu dead on the ground with Naruto laying down, passed out. As they see this, and they're wondering what could have happened here, as Kakashi looks down at the Anbu and he sees their mask. It's a blank mask with the Konoha symbol on top of it, as he says root, as he says we have to report this to Lord, Lord Hokage, as he seals the bodies in storage seals, and they take Naruto back to the village. As they get back to the office of the Hokage, and well, it's only 9 minutes, and they get back to the office of the Hokage, and they say, Lord Hokage, and Hiruzen says, yes, Asuma, Kakashi, and I'm gonna say this Anbu person. I'm gonna say it's Yamato. Why not? Yamato. And they say that we found Root Anbu at the scene where Naruto was. As they start to explain what it looked like, Naruto passed out on the ground with a bunch of Root Anbu with holes in their hearts, all laying down near each other, as they think that some weird ninja, some ninja invaded the village and killed the Anbu, but spared Naruto. As they are gonna wait until Naruto wakes up and ask him, and as soon as Naruto wakes up, Hiruzen asks him what happened in the Forest of Death, as he currently has Gilgamesh's memories and attitude. So usually he wouldn't tell Hiruzen this, but since Hiruzen was one of the only people that were nice to him, he said, he told him what happened, that this weird light that he thinks is called the Gate of Babylon or something, made these weird chains come out of him, and they hit all the Anbu people. Well, no, he don't know who Anbu is. He says they hit all the people, and Hiruzen didn't sense any lies in Naruto, so he thinks it's a new Keka Genkai, and he says, well, I guess you have a new Keka Genkai. As before Naruto could say that it's not a Keka Genkai, he heard Kurama say, no, don't say anything, as he was startled from what that voice was, and he decides just not to say anything, as Hiruzen checked Naruto down for having a Keka Genkai called the Gates of Babylon, as he says, Naruto, you can go now, as Naruto walks back to his apartment, and when he gets back in his apartment, he sits down and in the lotus position, which is meditation position if you didn't know, and he enters his mindscape thinking he's gonna see that same guy, but he actually saw this weird room where there's a bunch of pipes everywhere, and there's a couple different places that you can go. As he is looking around, he sees pipes that are leaking, pipes that are fully stable, as he walks around, and he eventually comes to this corridor, and he walks through it, and he sees this giant gate in front of him with this weird seal on it, as he sees he sees two red eyes open behind the gates, as he doesn't jump back because he has Gilgamesh's attitude that he thinks he's the strongest. So he walks up to the gate, and Kurama peeks his head out of the darkness and says, you aren't scared of me, as he says, why would I ever be scared of a giant fox, as Kurama chuckled, because Kurama could probably take out Gilgamesh if he didn't have his heavenly chains or his EA sword. He could probably take out Gilgamesh without those two things. Well, that and a couple other things. But swords and things don't really affect living chakra, except for his heavenly chains and his EA sword. As he says, you must have the personality of that man now. As he's wondering, as Naruto's wondering what happened to him, as he asks him what happened to that guy, as Kurama told him that he gave you his power, and he fused with your soul. So you have his memories, his powers, and you can learn about as fast as he can. So Naruto is wondering who this fox is, as he asks, "What's your name?" As he says, nobody's asked me that question in a very long time. Actually, I don't think a human has ever asked me that question before. So he says, my name is Kurama. As he then says, that I'm gonna be training you how to use your power in here. As he said, really? And because he does still have a little bit of Naruto's personality, he just considers everybody beneath him. So he teaches Naruto how to use his power, the gates of Babylon. He teaches him how to summon the gates and shoot different like axes, maces, spears, knives, daggers, kabuchi, shuriken, a bunch of different things. How to summon different things into his hands, because I'm gonna say since he is also the reincarnation of Ashura, which would mean he has the sun seal, which is creation, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's creation. As he's able to create different different I'm gonna say weird weapons that he could think of, like I don't know, a cutlass with a chain on it. Why not? Bunch of different things. And he is also able to wear Gilgamesh's armor. I'm gonna say that the academy starts. Starts when they're 12, ends when they're 16. So he is currently, I would say, when he was in the forest of death, he was 4, and I'm gonna say he's 7. So 5 more years until he goes to the academy, as he is asking Kurama if he could if he's able to use all of Ashura's abilities as well. As Kurama thought about it, as he decided to see what his father would do if he felt something like this, because he personally, in this one, he doesn't believe that his father is completely dead. He just believes that his chakra is still alive. So he said, Naruto, we're at the count of 3, you're gonna flare your chakra and your mindscape inside of your mindscape as high as you can. So because it's in his mindscape, I'm gonna say nobody else can feel it. So he says, alright, as he says, I'm gonna do the same, and we'll see what happens. As he says 3, 2, 1, as I'm gonna say Hagoromo felt like something just pierced his leg, and he was like, what was that? And then he disappears from where his chakra is currently, and he appears inside of the mindscape. as he looks around to see what's going on. He thinks Kaguya is out because he felt Naruto's chakra, which is the Uzumaki chakra, times 10 because of Gilgamesh, and he felt Kurama's full power at the same time. So he appeared. He thought Kaguya was somewhere, as he says, "Father, I knew you weren't completely dead." As he looks over to Kurama and says, "What's happening?" As he asks Hagoromo if Naruto is able to use Ashura's chakra as well, seeing that he's already stronger than most people. He's about as strong as a Kage right now. As Hagoromo looks over to Naruto, and he wonders what this weird power that Kurama explained to him was. As he says, "Can I get a demonstration?" As he says, "Sure." And he summons a bunch of gates of Babylon and shoots heavenly chains at Hagoromo. As Hagoromo says, "Cute," as he uses creation of all things to make the chains disappear, replacing them with air. As Gilgamesh's eyes widened, and then he thought, "Huh, that's a first." As he says, "Your technique was strong, considering I had to use half of my chakra to dispel it." As Gilgamesh is like, right. As he says, "Don't be too cocky because I already have the half back from nature energy." Because I'm going to say he also created a technique where he can draw in nature energy fast. As he is amazed by this power that he has. And he asks him, "Can you summon anything more powerful?" As he says, as he smirks and says, "I can, but I can only hold it up for 3 seconds." As he says, "Do it." As he summons his EA sword, as he puts it above his head, and he slashes downwards. As soon as it hit made a slicing motion, the sword disappeared because he could only hold it up for 3 seconds. And the slice cut through the mindscape like it was butter. And it almost hit Hagoromo when Hagoromo used the Rinnegan, as well as creation of all things, to dispel it. And the only way he was able to do that was getting into six-pack sage mode, using the Rinnegan and creation of all things technique, yin yang release, and all of his chakra to dispel that one slash. As he's panting, he's already regained his chakra because that technique is strong as to get his chakra back. As he says, "That's a strong sword you have there." As he says, "Yes, you can use Ashura's chakra." As he said, "Give me your hand," and he clapped Naruto's hand, and he had the sun seal on him. So Hagoromo disappeared to wait until Sasuke was worthy of Indra's chakra. As he looks down at the sun seal and says, "This is half of Hagoromo's chakra here." As the seal infused into his chakra network, timing it, making it get bigger by, I'm going to say 30. Yeah, 30. Because I'm going to say it only got times by 10 because of Gilgamesh uses magic, not chakra, but it's pretty similar. And it's almost stronger than chakra. So that's why it times it by 10. And since in since Ashura was a strong chakra user, it times it by 30. So his already times by 10 chakra was times by 30. So he then felt the surge of power going through him as he then looks at Kurama and says, "We need to train now." As Kurama nods his head, and then they train on Ashura's chakra, the five elements, wood style. I'm gonna say a partial Renegon. That's only gonna be used for certain moments, and I'll tell you how when he uses it. He six past stage mode using KCM as well, since he took off the seal. He did meet his parents, and he was happy because they told him to stay in the village because he was considering leaving, and he just decided to stay and become a shinobi of the leaf, like his father would have wanted. So yes, after the 5 years of him training in Ashura's chakra, he then uh, goes to the academy. As he's walking into the academy, and he sees Sasuke, Sakura, Ino, Shikamaru, Choji, Hinata, and in this one, I'm gonna say, Kiba saved Hinata, unless you want Hinata to be the ship, because I have no idea who the ship's gonna be. If you want Hinata to be a ship, unless Naruto can save her, I guess. Whatever you really want, I guess I can make it work. As he sees Aruka, he sees a bunch of other people. Like he would see who else would he see? He would not see Tenten, Neji, or Rock Lee because they are a grade higher than him. So yeah, so that's all the people he would see, I guess. Currently, he would see Kiba as well. So he walks up to the group as he says, "Is this class I don't know 1A? Why not?" So he asks, "Is that class 1A?" As he says, oh my gosh, so many different names. As Aruka says, "Yes, this is class 1A." As he says, "Good, I'm in this class." And he looks at the students as he was walking, trying to go through them, and he says, "Move, mongrels." As they felt the pressure coming off of him, and they just decided to move, and their body moved for them. Their mind didn't want them to move, but their body moved. So he just walks right past them into the academy, and he goes into the class and sits down, getting to pick where he wants to sit first because, well, he got in before everybody else. As everybody else came in, they sat down, and they started class. As I'm gonna say, Kiba and Sasuke both had a problem with Naruto, seeing as he called them mongrels. As they both walked up to him and said, "We want to fight," because the Uchiha Massacre already happened, and Sasuke is brooding still as he looks over at Sasuke and says, "Fine." And he looks at Kiba, "I'll fight both of you at the same time." And he gets up, taller than both of them, and he's only taller than them by he's only taller than both of them by a head because, well, just adds to his intimidation factor because he looks at people like this with his arms crossed and his face in this expression as he goes down, and Aruka says, "I'll be the ref of this match to make sure everything goes properly." As Naruto says that's fine, and he walks outside into the sparring circle, and um as Sasuke and Kiba both glare at Naruto as he's looking at them like this, except for with the gates behind him. The gates aren't behind him. He's just looking at them like this, and he doesn't have the armor on. He just has like a black tracksuit underneath. I'm gonna say, yeah, he has a black tracksuit on. As he'll put on the armor when it becomes a Genin, and then Aruka says, do the seal of reconciliation or something. As they do it, and he says, fight. As Sasuke and Kiba both ran at Naruto at the same time, and since Kiba didn't know any jutsu with Akamaru yet, he just went for taijutsu, and Sasuke knew the basics of the fireball, not the full fireball, just the basics, and he could shoot fire, but not as good as Naruto could. And they both run at him, about to start taijutsu, as they both throw punches and kicks at him, as he's dodging them, leaving after images behind, and they think that they're hitting him because of the after images, but Sasuke, because he's been trying to train his eyes to unlock the Sharingan, he sees the after images, so he knows he's not hitting him, but Kiba thinks he is, and starts getting cocky, saying, "Yeah, what do you think about that? Who's the mongrel now?" As Naruto smirks, as they both get launched away. Before they could get out of the circle, Naruto was behind them, and he had his hands out as they hit his arms as they fell on the ground. And he walks in front of them and says, "Is that all you got?" As I'm going to say Sasuke got up and he did the hand signs for the fireball jutsu. As Naruto smirked and said, "This is going to be weak." As it came at him, and like he expected, weak, and it's because he just had to hit it with the palm of his hand, and it dispersed. And he said, "How?" And Naruto said, "You want to see a real fireball?" As he didn't even have to do hand signs for it. He just actually, yeah, he didn't do the hand signs for it. He just blew it out because he was technically he's part of Otsusuke as well because of Ashra's chakra, so he didn't have to do the hand signs. So he just blew out a fireball at Sasuke and Kiba as it was coming toward them, and Iruka jumped in and grabbed Sasuke Kiba before it could hit them, and it hit the wall behind them, exploding. And Iruka said, "What were you thinking? That was dangerous." As Naruto smirked and he said, "They're the ones that challenged me. In the ninja world, it's kill or be killed, and personally, I will not be killed." So he walks away, knowing he won, because he had to get saved, because the other two had to get saved by Iruka. So they think Kiba and Sasuke both hate Naruto, as some of the girls like him, and I'm gonna say that the ship is not in the academy, they're currently in the village, but they're not in the academy because something happened. Depending on who you want the ship to be, I'll tell you why it happened. So, um, after that, not really people mess with Naruto except for Shikamaru and Sasuke, challenging him to fights and losing. And because of the fighting, Naruto's gaining some experience, not even a lot, just a tiny bit, as we see Naruto walking down the village, walking through the village, and he's getting glares at by the villagers. I would say it's his birthday currently, as he has a cupcake and he's eating it, and he hears a bunch of villagers running toward him. As he turns around, and he raises his killing intent to match all the villagers combined, as he said, "Come at me, I'll kill you." As the people who really wanted to kill Naruto ran at Naruto, and that was like half of them. They ran at Naruto, and they all saw weird golden lights, weird like golden portals, and a bunch of different chains came out, shishkabombing everybody that ran toward him, and the bodies fell from the sky as the chains came back to Naruto. He finished the cupcake as he's currently looking like this, as he said anyone else, as everyone else was just scared, and he turned off the gates and he walked away. He got another cupcake because he likes cupcakes. Why not? And when Hiruzen heard about this, he went to go talk to Naruto, as Naruto said that they attacked me. It's not their fault they died. And he said yes, but what was that weird thing that I heard about you having weird golden portals behind you? And he says, huh? This? As he opens a portal, he says this is the gate of Babylon. It allows me to summon noble phantasms from any era. And Hiruzen is so confused right now. First, Gate of Babylon, then Noble Phantasm, because he doesn't know what that is. As Naruto remembered, nobody knows what a Noble Phantasm is. As he says, it allows me to summon weapons from every era. As he, as, because, I'm gonna say, he's a bit skeptical. He asks Naruto, can you summon Madara's Gumbai? As Naruto smirked, and he starts to see a hilt coming out of the Gate of Babylon, and the three Tomoi in black, and instead of the white part of the fan, it's golden. As he grabs the war fan and the Gumbai, and he shows it to Hiruzen, and Hiruzen says, but it's golden, and he says yes, that's a perk of the gates. It turns every weapon golden. As he says, wow, well, guess this is a new Kekkei Genkai. As Naruto just went with it because he didn't want to explain Gilgamesh and everything right now. So Naruto got labeled to have a Kekkei Genkai, and he got put in a class to train Kekkei Genkais, which not many people knew how to train it, so he trained by himself usually, except for like with weapon masters, like Tintin's dad. That's the only person that I could really think of that would be a weapons master. Some Anbu, why not? And he trained how to use most forms of weapons, as he's a force to be reckoned with. and we see the current is this recording? Yeah, it's recording. So we see the current Naruto. He's in class waiting for Ruka to come, as he is trying to think of a way to use his Gates of Babylon more efficiently. As he thought of one, he actually thought of two different ways he could use the Gates of Babylon, but he thought this one would be the most, as he thought he's going to need to test these solutions out. So he goes into the mindscape because he's still waiting for Aruka, as he appears in where Kurama is, and he says, I thought of a different way to use the Gates of Babylon. As Kurama says, oh yeah, like what? As he opens a gate of Babylon underneath him, and he falls into it, and Kurama had his eyes open, and then he said, is he gonna die or something? And then another gate opened somewhere else, and he fell through it, and he said, I could use him to teleport. So Kurama was like, that's ingenious. And then he summoned a clone of himself. Naruto summoned a clone of himself, and it stood in the middle of the mindscape. He opened gates of Babylon surrounding it completely, like underneath the ground everywhere. And they summoned like a bunch of different kunai, and if then it dispelled the clone, but if a person was able to fight back, he summoned another clone that hit all the kunai away from him, as he saw a bunch of different chains coming out. He hit them away, but they would wrap around his knife, taking it. Then he would keep hitting them, and then an axe or something a spear would come out of nowhere, hit him in the leg, and then the axe would chop off his head. As Kurama thought this was ingenious, and he said, this is perfect. Nobody, you can't really dodge it at all, and you could teleport with them. And he says, slow time down in here and train with this, as he slowed time down to be a second in the outside world to be a month in the real world. So he trains for a year in the mindscape, as 12 seconds. So he got the basics of those are Chuck's to learn all of this, and he then got out of his mindscape, being satisfied by learning this. And as he got out, Aruka came in and said, alright, everybody quiet down, using his big head jutsu. As everyone quiet down, and he says, today we're going to start the beginning exams. And he, Gilgamesh smirked, said, and in his mind says this is going to be easy. As Aruka then said, first is the written portion, as he passed out the test to everyone, and Mizuki tried to mess with Naruto's test, putting a genjutsu over it, but because Naruto is Naruto and he's a Jinchuriki, most genjutsu wouldn't work on him. So he saw right through this one, and he was able to answer every question correctly. As he then went outside to start the kunai exam, as they gave everybody 5 shuriken, 5 kunai, and told them to throw it at the test dummy. As most people got like 5, maybe 6, 7. As I'm gonna say Kiba, he got 8. Sasuke got 9, and when Naruto went up, like I said, he trained in a lot of forms of weapons, and he got all 10 of them on the spot. Because Naruto can see from very far away. He has good targeting as well. So he says this test is easy. As Iruka said, well then the next test is fight against Mizuki Sensei to see how long you can last in a fight. As oh no, they're back. As everybody went up, and most people weren't able to last 5 minutes against Mizuki. So when Naruto went up and Mizuki went low tuning against Naruto, Iruka didn't see this because he put Iruka under a genjutsu to make it seem like Naruto is being fought. He's fighting Naruto using mid-getting skills, as Naruto then kept dodging Mizuki as he kicked Mizuki in the stomach, as he bent over as he kicked Mizuki in the side of the face. He eventually keeps comboing Mizuki as he beat Mizuki down to the ground, as Mizuki gave up, and that was the end of the getting exams, as he was giving a headband, but he didn't put it on. He asked if he could put it on his costume, and Iruka said yes. So I think that's where we're gonna leave this part off. I hope you guys liked it. Please like, subscribe, and let's get to 200 subscribers, because I have an idea for when we hit that. It's gonna be awesome. And please have a good night, afternoon, day, whatever, wherever you are, and please comment who you want